You probably don't remember the horror. No, of course you wouldn't. The primary consequence being amnesia. Not a total erasing of memory, of course, just a resetting to an earlier date. But why this date? And what is it that you have forgotten, as it were, of the future? Hello, I'm Peter John Cooper, and in today's 10-minute tale, I'm going to explain the future to you. A future that you and everyone else on Earth have already forgotten. This is not necromancy or some sort of astrology. This is real. This actually happened. Come over here and I will tell you the future that you have chosen to forget. We'll start here. It is the place you will be starting from. After all, let's assume that the rest of today happens just as you expect. There will be the odd natural disaster occurring somewhere else in the world, a war or two, wildfires, tsunamis, people will die, babies will be born, you may be struck down by grief or elated by pleasure, perhaps by a new lover. It may be the day your new car arrives red and shiny, or the day when the kitchen installers finally wipe down the work surfaces and proudly display their handiwork to you. The day your toddler takes those first steps, the day the flood bursts in through the back door. You may go to bed tonight with joy or sorrow, fatigued and ready to dream, or in pain, fearful and anxious. Altogether, a day like any other. The thing, the horror, whatever we will call it, descended at 10:15 precisely tomorrow. We will all know what we will be doing at that time. It will be the moment we all stood silent, watching our TV screens, pulled over onto the hard shoulder, listening to the car radio. That moment, we all stopped in the streets, gazing at the heavens, stricken by the enormity of what was unfolding before us, gazing in disbelief at each other, watching as the cloud of fear moved round the globe like a virus, enveloping those we loved, those we hardly knew, and those we previously counted among our enemies, waiting for the timestamp to reach us and the hammer blows to come raining down. Of course, there is no need for me to explain the actual calamity that befalls mankind. You know it already. You will have known it for some time. You will have seen the scenes long weeks before, and you have dismissed them, buried them deep inside where they are waiting until tomorrow to burst into your consciousness. And as the cloud descends, you will be able to squeeze out a tiny drop of consolation by saying, I knew this would happen. Yes, we all knew. We all buried it. And we all wished tomorrow that we had done something about it. Do you think that would have made any difference? Perhaps. Anyway, the horror is there, waiting for us at 10:15 tomorrow, your time. And after that moment, that instant of change when we stepped from this comfortable, familiar world into that world, when we became again as children, girt with fear, uncertain and undirected, incapable of understanding what was happening, which way to go forward, how to start living in this new world. Oh, if you were going to scream, this was the time to begin, and people did. Not all. Some became sullen and withdrawn, frozen to the spot, but we could all hear the fierce, wavering ululation as the horror took hold. We all felt bereft because of what we had lost, what had been snatched away from us, and later still, angry. Why had this happened? What have they done to us? To me, or more exactly, why have we let this happen? The anger making us turn on one another, striking out with words and even blows, hurting and kicking at those we meet, those we love, thought we loved, kicking them because we could not kick ourselves, and the flames of anger mounted up, fiercer and unendurably more painful, a worse pain than the horror itself. And then at last, even those flames smouldered and died into desolation. A world left smoking and blackened, piles of ashes, of recrimination, the end of this civilization. The end of humanity, the end of reason, the end of kindness and cooperation, the end of aspiration and building. Yes, by mid-afternoon tomorrow, the human race, a hopeless, shambling, sooted mass of individuals wandering a God-forsaken, burnt, drowned planet. But the one thing that defines the human race are the networks of endeavour that join us together. The indomitability of spirit. This is nature. This is what nature intended from the moment we were tiny molecular chains of hydrocarbons existing on the edges of the plumes of the black smokers deep in the abyssal blackness of the oceans, required by the energy gradient to absorb and accumulate that heat and spit it out again in great globs of entropy. Yes, we are required by the laws of entropy to absorb and accumulate energy as part of the process of dispersing it into the universe. We are machines enabling entropy. We cannot help being alive. And by being alive, we cannot help accumulating, bonding together, enabling the whole underlying process of the universe. This is not belief. This is the physical requirement of the universe. And that knowledge too was buried within us. We knew in our heart of hearts what was expected of the human race by all living creatures, by life itself. We knew that we were part of a bigger thing. We could not step away from that. The horror, the great thing was all part of that. And because we all knew it in our heart of hearts, we all of us accorded to the reset demanded it. In fact, we will have left it late, but perhaps not too late. Fear begets hope. The day after tomorrow, we will listen to the thrumming heartbeat of humanity, recognize what we have to do to defeat the thing, the horror. And defeat it we will, because this time we have hope. Someone will rewrite the algorithms to include hope. And as one, we will all click the reset and breathe a sigh of relief. And so, here we are back once more on the day before the horror befalls us. The future memory wiped clean, ready to tackle it again, but this time with hope and the knowledge of what we can achieve together. If at 10:15 tomorrow morning your time, nothing more happens than the odd war or bushfire or tsunami, then you know we will have succeeded in our common aim, and hope has triumphed over the horror. If not, well, there you are. I hope I have reminded you of what might have happened. If this 10-minute tale has jolted your memory, I hope you will press the YouTube subscribe button so that you get a reminder of the next 10-minute tale next week. Bye for now.